various other. I mean, we've got, I don't know, 7 or 8 former players now. And Brian is going to join the management, and we've got a fully fledged management team, and we've got a board. So I come in like, you know, when there was a problem with the supporters the last time, and I go to the club once a month. I unfortunately cannot and should not, because also, you know, you've got to appoint people and have confidence in them. You can't always have people who've got authority and then look over their shoulders all the time or interfere. So, you know, I go to the club to give awards, and they keep me informed of the things that are important. And, they sometimes ask for my views. And, they don't always agree with what I say, and that's good, because there are different views, and I also appreciate more often than not people who've got different views from the views that I have.
The thing is, when it comes down to, we always say Patrice Motsepe fired the coach, but Patrice Motsepe did this. We blame you. You take the blame for all those things. We say that he's not doing much to run the club. Does this mean that you're saying you have faith in the people who are running the club? Are you happy with the way the club is being run?
Well, obviously, there's a lot of work that still can be done, should be done, and it's always important. You know, you've got to evaluate the performance of the club every year in relation to the results and the success. And we haven't done so well. Last year, the winning of trophies and titles is a very key ingredient.
It was 2008.
Exactly. The last time, you're right. The last time we won was the Nedbank Cup. And there's a huge amount of focus, and there's a huge amount of determination. And those are the things that really requires me. But you must understand, at the end of the day, as president of Mamelodi Sundowns, I actually have to take the blame and the responsibility for anything that happens in the club, be it good or not so good. And it's specifically in relation to the things that may not have been so good, that as president and as the senior person, you have to take the blame. So I think when people say, yes, I fire the coach, I employ the coach, even though there's a whole process, and there are, as I said, smarter, more experienced people than I am who make input, but at the end of the day, I have to, as the leader, I have to take the responsibility for that.
Mr. President, there's no denying about the positive impact you've brought since you came into football. But I'm sure you read and also you listen as a football owner as well of a club at the highest level. Just to follow up to what Kona is asking, are you happy with how the team is currently run?
No, without a doubt. I always set very high standards and have very high expectations of myself and the various initiatives or endeavors I'm involved with. So I have no doubt that we must do much better. We can do much better, and I'm confident we will do better.
The new coach, and I stand corrected here, he's never acted as head coach in any of his teams. He's been assistant. Does that not worry you?
If you look at the document that was circulated, I think he has been a head coach of a number of teams. He's been head coach. He's been head coach of, I think, one of the teams he took to the European Champions League, and he coached a number of teams in Switzerland. He took NEC, Neymar in Holland, and but I think the key issue that I like when they brought me a copy of his CV is that, I mean, you can't work with Gus Hiddink and at the various levels that he's been assistant without having acquired a huge amount of experience. I mean, he came to South Africa, as I said, he played against Sundowns, and he was assistant coach of Frank Rijkaard. He coached the B team of he was the head coach of the Netherlands national team, the B team, and he's got a wealth of experience. But also, you know, what South African players need is people who will have the time and the patience to teach some of our players some of the basics, because some of our very good players, there's been an assessment that in relation to doing some of the basics in football, whether it's just the technical or the tactical parts of football, that because they were not properly trained and coached at a very young age, the technical awareness and performance is not as good as it can be. So he's got the patience. He's worked for many years with Frank Rijkaard, and he's worked with some of the best in the world.
How many coaches were there who applied the list you had of coaches?
Very many.
And names, some of them.
I'd love to, but I may not. As I said, it was quite
long list.
It's a very long list. But as I said, some of them were. They were top. My apologies. I may not comment. These were. I'm talking now international coaches. I'm not talking about the local crowd. These are coaches who were at the highest level. But we want a teacher. We want somebody who's passionate about the youth, passionate about academies, passionate about training and coaching our players. So, and as I said, some of the guys, the monies they get are crazy.
Just on that, are you at liberty? You mentioned it for the third time now, the issue of money, and also in the same breath, can you share in terms of contract as to how long you need to do? Is it 5 years? Is it 3 years? Have you put it down as to how long you want in here? And can you share the finances with us?
It's a very important point. I'd like to have him, in terms of the agreement, we've got him at least, would like him to be at least for the next 3 to 5 years.
So have you signed a 3-year term with option to renew? Or?
Yeah. We have committed ourselves to him for 3 years. And there's all sorts of, because he must also be happy with what happens in the country.
And I know it's going to be a tough one for you to give, but we know that Mamelodi Sundowns, whether true or not, you pay players very well. It's been one of those teams that pay players very well. How costly is he to you? Because earlier on you mentioned issues of having to go and ask the foundation and there should be guys to come in and help you. Is he really that costly? And in the same breath, does this mean that is this the man that you expect him to bring in the leagues or something? Because the fans want that. You may be looking at development, but the fans, if he loses to Cosmos and Leopards, they will want him gone.
Especially to Cosmos.
It's an important point. As I said, you see, I can only justify in terms of the contribution that he will make, not only to Sundowns but also to the South African coaches that be around him. And he comes from a culture. Having been with Barcelona, he played for Barcelona, and he was part of the technical team in Barcelona, and played with Johan Cruyff, and believes in the Cruyff philosophy. So what we paid for him as excessive as it is, we hope that in the medium to long term, it will prove to have been a worthwhile investment.
So it's European standards. All right. And then, Mr. President, earlier you mentioned 5 players that are coming on board. I know several names have been bandied about, but would you be at liberty to let us know? Because you've already signed them, so there's no longer any loose strings that need to be tied up.
Or have you signed?
I'd love to. We've signed about 4 of the 5.
Okay.
And there's still a discussion here and there about the 5th one in relation to the money they want. I think because we've already paid this club. We've already concluded with this club.
So is that Punch?
Can you give us names?
I'd love to.
But it's Punch. Because his club has confirmed Punch.
Yeah, Punch. Chiefs has already confirmed Punch Masanala.
I may not comment on this.
Just the one thing on the players that have been released. Can you give us the names?
Yeah, as I said, it's a very important question. We have to ask him, unfortunately. We can't move now.
Okay.
We have to call all of the players